Our universe exists, but according to the ruthless logic of physics, it has no right to. This isn't a statement of philosophy. It is a conclusion drawn from the cold, hard numbers that underpin reality itself. We live inside a paradox, a cosmic architecture built on a foundation of such profound improbability that its stability is a miracle. The truth is that the entire history and future of our cosmos, every star, every galaxy, every atom within you, is governed by a set of 6 fundamental numbers. These are not complex equations, but simple constants, the dials on the universe's control panel. And these dials are tuned with a precision so staggering, so infinitesimally perfect, that if any one of them were nudged by even a hair's breadth from its current value, the universe would have been a catastrophic failure. A fleeting, sterile flash of light, a cold, empty void, or a crush of black holes. No structure, no complexity, no life. Our existence is balanced on the razor's edge of impossibility. Let's turn one of those dials. The first is a number cosmologists call epsilon. It governs the efficiency of nuclear fusion, the very engine of the stars. Epsilon dictates how tightly the nuclei of hydrogen atoms bind together to form helium, releasing a fraction of their mass as pure energy. Its value is 0.007. If epsilon were just slightly smaller, say 0.06, the strong nuclear force would be too weak. Protons and neutrons would refuse to bind together in the hearts of stars. The universe would be a cold, inert soup of hydrogen, with no other elements, no chemistry, no planets, and no life. Now, let's turn the dial the other way. If epsilon were 0.08, the strong force would be overwhelmingly powerful. Fusion would be catastrophically efficient. Every hydrogen atom from the Big Bang would have fused in the first few minutes. Stars would never form. They would have no fuel left to burn. The universe would be a cold, inert soup of hydrogen, and the cosmos would be populated only by heavy elements, forever dark. The narrow, life-permitting window for epsilon is not a suggestion. It is an absolute decree. Consider another dial, a pure number known as N. It represents the ratio of the strength of electromagnetism to the strength of gravity. Its value is enormous, 10 to the power of 36. This colossal number signifies the immense weakness of gravity compared to the forces that govern atoms. If gravity were even slightly stronger, if this number were just a few zeros smaller, its grip would be overwhelming. Stars would be far smaller, compressed into dense hot spheres that would burn through their fuel in a few million years, not billions. There would be no time for the slow, patient evolution of life on any orbiting planets. If gravity were weaker, stars wouldn't be able to ignite at all. The primordial clouds of gas would never collapse with enough force to kickstart nuclear fusion. Again, a dark, lifeless cosmos. These constants are not derived from some deep underlying theory. They are experimentally measured values. We know what they are with astonishing precision, but we have no fundamental understanding of why they are what they are. They appear, for all intents and purposes, to be arbitrary. Yet they are perfect. The evidence for this cosmic fine-tuning isn't speculative, it's computational. Physicists and cosmologists run incredibly sophisticated simulations of the universe's evolution. They build entire digital cosmoses inside supercomputers, input the laws of physics, and then they begin to tweak the dials. They nudge the mass of the proton. They alter the energy density of the vacuum. And the results are consistently, universally catastrophic. A universe that collapses back on itself a second after it's born. A universe that expands so violently that not even a single atom can form. A universe where all matter is radioactive. The architecture of reality itself seems built on a set of impossibly lucky numbers. Take the cosmological constant, lambda, the number representing the energy density of empty space, the so-called dark energy. Its measured value is incomprehensibly small. Our best theories predict it should be 120,000 times larger than what we observe. If it were even a fraction larger than its tiny measured value, its repulsive force would have ripped the universe apart before galaxies could ever form. This discrepancy is considered the single worst theoretical prediction in the history of physics. Yet the universe sits serenely in this sliver of stability, 1 part in 10 to 120. This leads us to the most profound question in all of science. Is this all just a fantastically improbable accident? Or does the existence of this impossible recipe hint at a deeper, stranger reality? From the paradox of our universe's improbable recipe emerges a question that pushes science to its absolute limits. Why? Why this specific set of life-permitting numbers out of an infinite sea of sterile possibilities? The statistical unlikelihood is so extreme that to simply call it a cosmic coincidence feels intellectually bankrupt. It's like finding a single grain of sand on all the beaches of Earth marked with your name and concluding it's just a lucky find. This gaping hole in our understanding, this impossible fact of our existence, has forced physicists to devise explanations that are as mind-bending as the problem itself. These are not just theories, they are radical reconceptualizations of reality. The first and perhaps most straightforward explanation is a form of observational bias known as the Anthropic principle. In its weak form, it's less of an explanation and more of a logical tautology. It states that the reason we observe the universe to have values compatible with conscious life is because we are here, as conscious life, to observe it. If the constants were different, we wouldn't exist, and there would be no one to ponder the question. It's a selection effect. We are, by definition, living in a universe that could create us. While undeniably true, for many physicists, this is deeply unsatisfying. It explains away the problem without addressing the underlying mechanism. It's like waking up uninjured after a 50-car pileup and saying, "Of course I survived, otherwise I wouldn't be here to think about it." It doesn't explain how you survived. This dissatisfaction leads to a more spectacular and, for many, more compelling idea: the multiverse hypothesis. Born from theories like eternal inflation and string theory, the multiverse proposes that our universe is not unique. Instead, it is but one bubble in a vast, ever-expanding cosmic foam. In this grander reality, new universes are constantly budding off, and in each one, the fundamental constants, the 6 dials, are set to random values. The vast majority of these universes would be stillborn, collapsing instantly, expanding into nothingness, or filled with bizarre physics incapable of forming any structure. But in an infinite lottery, every number is eventually drawn. Our universe is simply one of the rare, lucky tickets where the numbers aligned perfectly for stars, galaxies, and observers to emerge. In this view, our existence is not a miracle, it's a statistical inevitability. We find ourselves in a life-permitting universe for the same reason we find ourselves on a life-permitting planet. There are countless dead worlds out there. We just happen to live on a good one. Yet, there is another path, one that seeks elegance over brute force probability. Some physicists believe that the fine-tuning is a clue, a signpost pointing towards a deeper, more fundamental law of nature, a theory of everything. In this scenario, the 6 numbers are not random or arbitrary at all. Their values would be mathematically necessary, derived from the first principles of this ultimate theory, as inevitably as pi emerges from the geometry of a circle. Perhaps there is an undiscovered symmetry or a profound physical principle that locks these constants into place, making any other value a logical impossibility. The search for this theory, a single framework that would unite quantum mechanics and general relativity, is the holy grail of modern physics. If such a theory were found, and it predicted the precise values we observe, it would transform our understanding. The fine-tuning would cease to be a lucky accident, and instead become a beautiful consequence of an underlying elegant truth. For now, we stand at a crossroads. We have no direct evidence for other universes. We have not yet found the theory of everything. All we have is the data point, the universe itself. The uncanny precision of its construction is not a philosophical quirk. It is an observational fact that demands an explanation. Whether we are a singular miracle, a statistical certainty in an infinite multiverse, or the logical outcome of a yet unknown physical law, the answer will redefine our place in the cosmos. The impossible recipe that allows our existence remains the most profound mystery, a quiet hum of cosmic wonder that beckons us to keep exploring, to keep questioning, and to never lose our sense of awe at the sheer improbable fact of being.